Yo. What's good? What's up, Kale? Bobby, I'm not gonna take that in a weird way, okay? Okay. What's up, Steven? What's up, M1? If y'all are in here. What's good? Also, we have Kat. We have Kat on the desk. This is where she wants to hang out. Well, we're gonna be talking about the title. The Great Resolution Debate. Which one is actually best? But more so we want to look at today like what resolution. I just want to like see different perspectives, really. See if there's things I'm not picking up on. See if there's different thing y'all know. Or different situations, maybe you should or shouldn't upgrade resolution, kind of stuff like that. I would say we won't start quite yet because I want people to get some time to get in. But obviously, if you guys are in the server, if you're in the Discord server, if you go to here, there's a stage, which I'm going to set up. And on the stage, basically how they work, I don't know if anybody's used it. What's up, Felix? What's up, JJ? How the stage works is basically you can watch people talk. So there's like an audience, and then there's like only people that can hear it. So I'll probably always be on the stage, I would assume. I think that's how it works. And then I can bring people up to talk, and I could even like mute myself and have two other people talk and stuff like that. So it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty cool stuff. Let's try it. What's your cat's name? Her name's Roxy. Maybe she'll show. She is pretty cute. She's old. She's like 14, 15. She doesn't look happy when I'm showing her, but she is happy right now. She's really funny. I saw a thing in chat, and it was, if you had an OLED 1080p and what if you had an OLED 1080p and a mini LED 1440p? I mean, I've never experienced really, I mean, other than my phone on OLED and a PS Vita, actually, I've never really experienced an OLED display. I'd love to try it at some point, but I don't think OLED's very good for monitors. I would get burned in. Wasn't able to upgrade my GPU until November of last year with the Black Friday sales. It's basically how I upgraded mine too, yeah. What's up, Yukon? I love 1440p, so I use DLSS to achieve it. That is like the one perspective, is like, depending what GPU you have and what games you play, even if they are graphically demanding, I mean, you can use some upscaling and get some nice performance. Subjuson. Got an LG 4K 60Hz monitor, 32 inch. That's interesting. So that's the thing about 4K is like, well, obviously the cost goes up significantly. Just to go to OLED and 4K in general. But also 4K is really hard to run at high refresh rate anyways. So you pay more to get high refresh rate for 4K, and then you might not be able to use it. $300 for 1080p and 8 gigabytes. Sad. Possibly. I think the 6700 is a 1080p card. From my experience with it, I think the reason it does well at 1440p, or it even performs decently at 1440p, 6700 with 10 gigabytes of VRAM. I'll just show you guys the specs. Obviously, a lot of people have this card, but I think this card falls off a lot as the resolution goes up because it only has 160-bit bus. It doesn't have very fast memory. It's only like 320 gigabytes per second of bandwidth. So, yeah, it's kind of rough. Mike says, was that a beer? If you consider Dr. Pepper beer, then yeah, it's beer then. I found out that I hate beer. If I want to get drunk, I'm just gonna take shots. I prefer Dr. Pip. Or Mr. Pip. Okay, which one would you choose? 4K LCD or 1440p OLED? Well, if I'm just gaming, I would probably pick OLED, but I do more than gaming, so I'd probably pick LCD. I'd pick mini LED, actually. Beer is terrible, disgusting effect. Dude, if you want to get drunk, just buy a cheap bottle of liquor. I mean, like, don't be an alcoholic, but I'd rather not sip on a beer for 10 minutes and it just tastes bad the whole time. And it doesn't even get you halfway drunk. I'm 21. And nice little tip too. You can mix like a diet Dr. Pepper or a Diet Coke or something. Mix it with like some liquor and it still stays pretty low calorie. Like if you're watching calories and stuff, it makes it taste okay, and it's not that crazy calorie. Happy birthday, Vic. No, it ain't my birthday, but thank you. Okay, I'm gonna open up the stage. So, how many? Who all in this chat is even in the server? So, over on the Discord server, beer is delicious. That is the cope of an alcoholic, if I've ever heard it. Yeah, there's a Discord server. I think it's in the description. Let me put it. Let me see. Yeah, Discord's in the description if you aren't joined, and if you want to debate. Obviously, you can leave the server or whatever after you're done, but that's the only way I can really talk to y'all. So, stage topic. Resolution debate. We are going to be debating resolution. Also, is the music good? It is. I'm making the music intentionally quiet. But is music good? Okay. I should be on stage. PF just joined. And I'm just deafened on the stage right now. Mountain Dew is where dude, Mountain Dew is like when you want to go like crazy, dude. All right, let me pull this up. I'm gonna extend the little cam a little bit. Guys cannot handle this too. I mean, but like, you know, like, come on, guys. Like, if you take a Dr. Pepper, right? If you take a Dr. Pepper, you can drink this every day. You can drink Coke every day, but drinking Mountain Dew every day, that's a lot. You're like you better be cracked at Fortnite, you know? Today is just gonna be testing you guys. How bold are you? Will you step into the ring? I'm just kidding. I want to set things like straight. Obviously, when we're debating or talking or whatever, keep it civil. All right, keep it civil. It's just monitor resolutions. I swear, if you get heated, I'm just gonna kick you. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. So just keep it civil. Like, no swearing. Keep that out. And just so you know, I will kick if you guys act up too much. So, but we are in an area where we're going to be. I'm unhinged, brother. You're a feral animal. Yeah, but if you like, also, like, before you go into it, have your thoughts together. because that's like, don't just go in with nothing to talk about. So if you guys want to know too, if you haven't seen the video, so I have another video up that I posted today that has basically what my side of this whole thing is. And basically, I'll give my background just real quick, like recap of the video, is I got a 1440p monitor, and I sort of regret getting a 1440p monitor, right? You can swear now to get out of the way. Just like yell into your pillow or something. But I upgraded from 1080p to 1440p, and ever since then, I've seen deals and stuff on great 1080p graphics cards, and there's always been a part of me is like, you can't look at those deals the same anymore because it just isn't as good of a deal, because they don't play good at 1440p. Imagine getting a $250 graphics card or something that is amazing at 1080p, could max out games and absolutely killing it, but 7 resolution, it just isn't good enough. So it's kind of jaded me in a way, and I still love 1440p. It's just like, if I'm getting a graphics card that's going to be my main card, I have to buy something that is like an RTX 3080 level of performance or above. It's hard to like look down on that now, unless I'm just like testing them or something. So that's kind of like my position on it. And obviously the price increase going to 1440p, it could be a lot more than you'd expect. And you might need to upgrade your graphics card. You might need to upgrade your power supply or your case. It could be a lot more. And I think a lot of people can buy into the hype of 1440p, kind of like I did. I felt like I needed it. And then when you get it, you can get caught off guard with all these expenses that you didn't think about that come along with it and stuff like that. So, yeah. If you want to come on stage and talk, there's a little feature, I think, to raise your hand, and you can come up on stage. So that I would go with the 6650 XT. I mean, that's a good deal. I like that card. I totally get it. I have a 32-inch. Would never go smaller again. Dude, like 32 inches on a monitor in your desk, it's so immersive and cool. Although a lot of like competitive gamers are going to almost always say to have like a smaller monitor because it can help you get zoned in to the game more. So yeah. You know what I will also do is a little announcement. Master debaters debating stage. Okay, so Discord server should know about it. Smaller monitor has more pixel density. I think like for competitive gamers, like being able to see everything, because sometimes even 32 inches can be in your peripheral, where like you don't catch a certain thing on the screen, and then yeah, you just miss it. So my dad has a TV for his monitor, and instead of multiple screens, he uses a Windows Power Toys feature to split it with Windows. Isn't that what Linus did? I don't know if he does it anymore. It's just like one giant screen. My only thing would be like tabbing out sounds annoying. And where do you put your game? Do you still play on like the whole, like across the whole thing? Not 100% sure. Triple 27, that sounds pretty cool. I'll undeafen. You guys should be able to hear me in this, right? You can hear me on stage. Do you use any skincare products? I do. I use a little bit of... and anyone in this chat, like if you want to raise your hand, come up and debate. We don't have to be even that opposing. But if you have a different perspective, I'd like to hear it. Yeah, I use a salicylic acid, and I use what's the stuff called? Ordinary. It's like acne stuff, basically. My 32-inch Samsung is 10 years old, and my 24-inch Nexus has gone on 7. Sup, Jigsaw? I have enough trouble keeping up with gaming action on one monitor, let alone two. Keep hearing your voice on repeat. You know what I did do? If you guys have an idea with acne, because I mean I haven't really shared that much, but I generally do eat pretty healthy, and I also exercise a lot, so I don't think it's malnourishment or anything with acne. So what I started to do was take you guys have seen maybe a little bit of an acne clear up with me. I've actually noticed it. So I started taking zinc, and as a supplement. I might have been zinc deficient or something, but that has to do with your immune system. Oh, 1 second. 1 second. New generation. I'll get you in here in just a second. I'll talk for a minute. Yeah, and being outside and stuff helps with acne. But while drinking Dr. Pepper, hey, it's diet. It's perfect. But generally, I'm pretty good. And then yeah, and genetics. Also, our family gets acne, so.
Okay.
Gonna go ahead and bring a new generation up. I think I just do that. So I invited you. Yo.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sound good?
All right. Cool.
So, what is your perspective?
When it comes to like displays and everything, like this is my first gaming PC, and I always had a 1080p monitor. I upgraded from, I guess, a 60 hertz regular Dell monitor to a 240 1080p monitor.
That's a big upgrade.
Zowie monitor, which was like a esports gaming monitor.
Yeah.
And I think even at that time, people were saying like 1440p is the sweet spot and everything else, but I knew that my consoles at the time weren't really able to run 1440p at any type of like hertz or resolution. So when it came to like adaptability, like just knowing that I could like plug and play and just put it into a 1080p monitor from any different game device I had or anything, I just knew that was like good and easy and simple. Now when I go to like my friend's house or I see new people building computers or having recommendations, or like even when I went to Micro Center, they tried to tell me like, oh, you should get like a 4K hertz monitor. Oh, it just looks so beautiful and something. But I know that there's a problem when you try to run a game and you're noticing that your graphics card just can't put out and spit out that type of resolution.
Yeah, if you want to get a
some people
4090 too.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Like they're trying to get you to get, you need a little bit more like horsepower to run it. And I noticed that even with my friend's monitor, he has a 4K panel, and like his games have. I was actually having a discussion on this Discord about it, trying to help him out, because even his graphics card struggles to keep up with certain games. It would either overheat or start throttling at some points, and it's just like once you're bumping up those resolutions, it kind of seems like it's not worth it in a way, especially if some people don't want to tinker with their system. So I don't know. I don't know if it's more of a debate, but it's more like if 1440p is the sweet spot for most gamers, I feel like there also should be a way for people to understand more how to upscale or how to tune or balance their devices so they're able to enjoy that resolution instead of having a bad experience when it's like, man, I got this great panel, I couldn't get it to work and stuff like that. If you see what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
it can be definitely rough with upscalers. And if you're stuck on something like Pascal or something like that, I mean, the best you can do is FSR. So I mean, DLSS looks awesome. I can confirm that. But
So okay, so you played it, right? You play with DLSS.
well, if I'm on an NVIDIA card at the time, but
So when people like hardware unbox, when they talk about any type of latency, or like Daniel Owens when they talk about that latency, do you feel it, or like is it so noticeable that you're like, ugh, I want to turn it off, or you're like, man, this is so beautiful to look at that I'll keep playing a single player title like this, but not a multiplayer title?
are you talking about frame generation?
Yeah, the frame generation.
I can't.
Like,
I
would you
can't
play a
do
competitive
that.
game like that?
I don't have a GPU that supports it.
Uh,
Yeah. So like, what NVIDIA is gonna get you on is like, they're gonna be like, okay, so you want to play at 4K? Okay, you got to get our latest 4000 series GPUs because they got frame generation.
yeah,
They're gonna do that kind of stuff. I mean, that costs like it adds up very quick.
it caused like an arm and a leg. And I saw something else, right? This probably be my last thing, maybe, right?
Okay.
There was a YouTuber that was having a giveaway. It was one of those Movius like 4K 165 hertz monitor, and I'm thinking,
Okay.
like, if he gives that monitor to somebody that has like, I don't know, a 1070 somewhere, that computer is gonna like start struggling to run at that like resolution and
The
frame
quote
rate.
unquote winner is gonna have to sell their new monitor.
Yeah, you can sell the monitor and like get an upgrade at that point, but damn, now you lost the monitor.
Yeah, dude,
You
that's
know,
sad. I've
know,
thought about that
so,
too. Yeah, I think Jay's 2 Cents is doing a giveaway right now. I think he's giving away like a whole system. Like, you have to be able to, like, if you just give away one component, it's not always good enough. So,
it
are
has
you
to
really?
be,
Is
like,
it really
the
a
whole
gift?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it adds a whole world of, typing on Reddit. Wow, I can't get my 970 to run at this resolution, and
No, not the
you always get the
970.
people that say they can. Yeah, like something crazy.
Dude, the
But
970
I'm
with three and a
really,
half gigs of VRAM.
you can enjoy your browsing experience. I assume, but after that, it's a whole bunch of troubleshooting, and I don't know why this is doing this.
So like
But
if you would have gotten a 1440p display, because like they are affordable. I think like a 240 hertz 1080p one is probably about as much as like a 120 hertz 144 hertz 1440p display. So if you would have got one, do you think you could have dealt with upscaling stuff, or like would the consoles have been an issue, or what is your perspective?
I I don't think the console would have even supported that, because I had the original Xbox One that first came out, and
Okay.
like I was just like, even all my friends was just like, why don't you upgrade? Like, ugh, how are you playing that? Right? I was
Yeah.
just dealing with it because I didn't know any better,
Hmm.
And when I went straight to the PC, I think I would have had to do a lot more research. And I think you put out a good video where you talked about how much harder it is to run each resolution, and
Oh yeah,
how
that one.
once you get to like, you remember that one?
Yeah, that video. Yeah.
And I was also trying to show that to my friend, because I think it was like when you go to 1080p, it's one. It's like that was your baseline, your 100%.
Hmm.
I think when you went to 1440p, it went up to like 130 something percent. But once you jump to 4K, that's like extremely taxing on a graphics card. So I think, to go back to the question, I think I would have been able to enjoy it, because the type of games I would have been playing, like competitive, like Apex, or like Valorant, or like CS:GO type shit. Those games don't have such a big world that it's hard to demand. But when I go back to single player games, I can notice it.
For
But
sure.
I think when I get that type of monitor, I could probably have a better experience, because I do ask people that have 1440p, like, how big of a difference is it over 1080p? Because I've only ever seen 1080p.
Do you want to see 1440?
Consistently. I don't
Once
know.
you go there, it's hard to go back. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but see, that's how I feel about not resolution, sorry. That's how I feel about a refresh rate. Like, once I
Hmm.
at 240, I showed my friend that. I'm like,
Oh, you
bro,
feel
once
it
I
for
get you
sure.
one, you'll never want to go backwards on that one. So
Yeah, I mean, playing competitive. I mean, you could could probably. I mean, like I run like a 6700 on like Overwatch, like high settings, and I can max out my monitor on like a.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. So if you are playing competitive, it's not that big of a deal.
Yes.
And then the argument is it's possible to do like upscaling on games that are like less competitive, less easy to run, harder games to run, I mean. And then like what is it your 6750 XT? Is that your first GPU
Yes.
then?
Yeah, first GPU. This is the first build of everything, man.
Well, congrats on getting into it.
When you had a lot of praise for AMD GPUs, and when I was learning basically a lot of things, it took like maybe a good year or two to understand like even how different components would work if I was to put it together. And I just happened to get like a decent build, decent price for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I can definitely upgrade it, and it would have no problem.
Yeah.
Um,
I will personally say I
so
think 6750 XTs would be perfectly fine at 1440p. It definitely would have been entry level. I think you could play a lot of games at high settings, but I don't know how
yeah,
far into the future that would go. Like, what kind of
yeah.
games do you play? Single player?
So single player, everything I really play mostly is Let me see. I gotta go to my Steam library. Off the top of my head, single player game.
The Steam Summer Sale goes hard.
Yeah, it does go hard, huh? They're trying to take everybody's wallet.
Oh my god! I already spent like $100.
Orange. Let me see. Now my friend gifted me a couple games because he gifted me a Monster Hunter World because we played it on console. We never played it on the computer before. It looks amazing on my monitor to me, but you know he has 4K
1440p can do
60,
3060
so it
Ti.
might look really beautiful. But now imagine 4K 120 or 1440p 165 or something like that. It might look really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we play like Borderlands,
Okay.
Daisy. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not because I don't really play too many single player games. Yeah, we play all the Borderlands, Daisy. I wouldn't even count Don't Starve. I know I
FSR
downloaded
is kind of
Halo to
hard.
see what it played like. It looks pretty good. Yeah, nothing too demanding. If you count Sid Meier's Civilization, but that's like a CPU
Yeah, yeah.
type of game.
Yeah, so some people in chat are
Valheim.
saying like
Mhm.
they use like a 3060 Ti at 1440p, which I think is good. That's about as fast as your card, about the same speed,
Yeah,
except it has less VRAM.
I know. I was actually shocked. One of my friends, she plays like VR type games on like a 2060. I'm not even
Yeah,
gonna hold you. When I think about it in my head, I didn't even know a game like that could run on that graphics card. I
that
wouldn't
sounds a
even
little
think it would be that
nauseating.
powerful. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
But it
I'm a
works.
hurl.
So if people can run it, I'm pretty sure like they would like
Uh,
games like that.
I mean,
Resident
she
Evil.
would probably get a huge
Um,
upgrade on
yeah,
something.
but
Thanks,
when
cameraman.
she thinks about upgrades, she thinks about like 2060 to 3060 to 4060. Like that's the like
The
when I
only
think about
path.
like consumers or something. Yeah, I don't think that. Wouldn't an upgrade path more likely be like, let's say she's on 2060, right? Wouldn't like maybe up to a 3070 or a 4070 be like game changing rather than going from 60 class to 60 class?
That would be a huge upgrade, especially in VR. Uh,
Yeah,
so from a 2060, that's got to be like twice
trying
as
to
fast,
think.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like this is like the type of thing with resolution. Like, it's not only the VRAM, but like the smoothness, getting your frames.
because
Yeah, it's
different
like
headsets they have like
75%
different
faster.
resolutions, right?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's. I think that. I mean, obviously it's Apple, but the new Apple ones are like 4K.
yeah, those things look crazy.
Yeah, but that
Let me
runs
see.
itself. So, but like I
Mhm.
think some of them. I think they're usually 1440p. The lower end ones are 1080, and I think you only have to really run one of the sides, and it does like some kind of interpolation thing to get the other eye.
Yeah, and it's they have like experimental features because my friend also had the Oculus, my unnamed friend, but he had the Oculus, and it has a setting that can boost it to 120 frames, which does look very smooth, but it does get very hot.
Yeah.
And it has like a resolution scaler that goes to like something ridiculous because of the way the lens works. But you can definitely tell when the performance starts to tank when you raise up those settings. So I don't know if that's like you know, but I think people should definitely know what type of build they want, because I was 100% fine with 1080p.
Okay.
But I know that if I do go to my next monitor, 1440p might not be so bad.
It might be the upgrade, especially because I mean, the cards that can run it are only going to get cheaper over time.
Yeah.
I mean, not with this generation, but
no, yeah, somebody up there, one of the higher ups, wants to like you know, bless us down here. You know, that's why I wish I had like an angle on 1080p, but I do feel that you know, people should go for the greater experience, but I think 4K is a huge jump of like
I did that math in the one video,
you know.
I think it was like over 2 times harder to run than 1080p, like 2.5 or something.
And it's noticeable.
Too.
Bro, Cameron, this is Cameron, by the way.
Okay.
What are you trying to say?
So I have one solid point to make. 1080p, quite honestly, might be one of the most useless resolutions around.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. It looks great, but think about it. You're just playing on 720 with a few buffs. If you're on the legendary 1440, right? You got the visuals, and modern day cards have the frame rate on it too. I don't mean to shill or nothing, but my Yeston card, trash at 1440p. Honestly, I'm going to take it to a step and say that Yeston cards could do 360 frames on 160p. Right?
Yeah.
No, I'll do 16. I do 16.
Okay.
Yeah, but COD gamers, they like their 1080p because you can get your 360 hertz a second. You know what I'm saying? Your frame rates.
Yeah,
I'm no COD gamer. I'm a Yeston gamer.
So what you're trying to say is like everybody who has 1080p should just like die or something. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, the build should have CMOS failure.
Oh, okay. Even worse.
So there are gamers, right? Very competitive. We switch at lower resolutions. You switch it a lot. So if you're really sweaty gamers, which is what they call a lot of us, right? You switch your resolution down to 1650.
Oh, and then you stretch it.
1650. Stretch resolution.
Oh my god.
And
you gotta stretch it. That's that ultra wide.
That ultra wide, but you make your enemies a lot easier to hit if you're used to tracking heads a lot, especially in like Valorant, Apex type games.
It makes their heads wide.
More so less. Yeah, big head wide. It's very noticeable. It kind of is, and you keep your frame rate a lot of the times. So I'm not sure how your frame rate looks, K2, once you go to like 1440p and you're trying to run it on any type of graphics cards that you have.
Oh, he has a Yeston one. But...
A Yeston one?
Yeah. So it's really fast.
Yeah, I run at least, if we're talking, max, ultra setting, 1440p ultra wide, I'm talking at least 110 hertz. And my that's just lowballing. I have my card undervolted because my room gets too hot because how good the card is at cooling.
Yeah.
But me personally, to keep it 100, keep it honest, I think any monitor that's smaller than 27 inches is kind of, hard to work with. I can't stand them. And so that's why I say 1440p is the go-to for gamers. It's a reachable price point nowadays. Plus you get the graphics.
What size monitor did you go with new generation?
I think it's 27 inches. It's a XL.
27-inch 1080p.
27 point. Yeah. Let me see.
I prefer 27 too.
It's nice.
So far,
I think it's immersive enough, and you like where you'd want to sit from it is pretty normal desk depth.
But
Yes.
one thing I really personally don't care about is graphics, honestly. That's why I prefer higher frame rates and lower graphic settings. That's one thing people don't understand is if you're playing on higher resolution, you don't need to be on ultra.
True.
yeah, I
you
started
don't see it
doing
as
that
much.
too. Yeah.
Well, Cameron, do you use DLSS or do you not need it?
The only time I ever used DLSS was in Fortnite, believe it or not.
Yeah. It looks really good in Fortnite, I can't lie.
It sells a lot. It's a good idea. It's kind of pointless to me.
So.
Okay.
All right, but now, like, let's
Yeah.
say you get a graphics card that's so powerful, that's powerful enough for you not to have to lower your let's just this make believe world where you don't have to lower your graphical settings for
It'll just blow your socks
to
off.
match your yeah, just blow your socks off type
It's
of
crazy.
graphics. Like, is it really worth once you're going past? You said yours is 100 hertz, right?
Mhm.
It's like it just
That's not
looks
my
so.
monitor. That's just
Well,
average.
We'll get to you in just a
It
second.
just looks
R.
so good,
I
though.
can't see names because of
Oh.
Yeah,
streamer
but
mode.
honestly, if I could, I would just go out and buy like the most powerful graphic card just to keep everything consistent like that. Graphics on computers, literally one of the reasons I left console gaming. That and another reason.
Oh, heck
But
yeah.
Okay.
issue is, it's the frame rate. If I can hit 240 frames, I'll sacrifice anything except if I have to go to low. If I won't go to low.
All right. One second. I got someone else who wants to come up. Do we want 4 in here, or do we feel content?
Okay,
Well, I'm about to drop out and watch from afar.
Oh, New Generation. Anything else you want to say?
Games, guys. Woo.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah, there is.
Because I was too much in a floaty zone where I was just like, nah, everybody enjoy your experience. And
I feel like
1080p is a nice entry level.
hey, you made a good decision. You didn't try to go baller out at the beginning, which I think is smart.
Also, realizing it though.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it also depends on the display you have too, because the Steam Deck is like what 1280 by 800.
Oh
And that
yeah,
thing
yeah,
was
size.
crisp.
Yeah, I think the Steam Deck looks really good at that size. I mean,
Yeah.
same with the Switch.
It's
Doesn't even look
crisp.
bad. That's like 720p. You can see
And that
pixels
screen
on
I'm
it,
about to buy, it wasn't. What's it called? 1280 by 800. It was like 19. What was it 1960 by?
but 1200.
It was like 10. It was like something stupid like 1000 or something like that.
But those games are like purposely made for like those resolutions to look as good as they do. Because
Yeah.
I will say, when I was thinking about buying a Switch at the time, and I kept hearing they were gonna release, I think like either an OLED version or something else version that was gonna be like a little
Switch
higher
Pro.
frame rate than the original. I wanted that just because I knew it would look and feel better. But then I just never ended up purchasing it because it didn't come out. Then the
Yeah.
Steam Decks come out, and I'm looking at the resolution. I'm like, these going to be like the first runs that just look however they look? But people are enjoying them. They're not crashing as bad as people. Like everybody, me and my friend thought it was going to flop. It didn't. It's doing really well.
No, it's doing
And,
good.
I haven't even heard problems on that. Yeah.
My only issue with it is you're stuck using Linux, and so you're limited in a lot of ways.
Mike,
I used Linux before, so it's not
There's
really
no
much of a
bots,
big
I don't
issue for me.
think. The
But then I know
live
if I
count
switch
viewers
to
can
Windows, I'll get a
change a little
performance
bit.
downgrade.
What did you say again?
Sorry, that guy was. I wonder if he was being loud enough. The Steam Deck, its biggest issue, honestly, is being on Linux, and it has slight power drawbacks, but that's fine. But the fact that it's on Linux limits you to a lot of things you can do with it. If you switch to Windows, you get a performance drop. So
Yeah, true. Lord Gaben. He's taking our money in the Steam sale, and he's taking it in the Steam Deck. Pop off, King.
all right, man. Well, I'm about to go play Shredder's Revenge on the Steam Deck, so I'll see you around.
Okay, have fun.
I will.
All right.
Hey, thanks for having me on the back.
Yeah, good talking to you. Cool sharing your experience and stuff. I think you made a smart decision, like not trying to overdo it right away, and not sure. You don't know how good 1440p is or 4K is until you've experienced 1080p or something like that. So I think that's smart.
When I finally upgrade my GPU, I'll probably have a better take, because then I would upgrade my monitor at the same time. I think that might be the best time for me to say, and then I'll tell you the difference.
Okay. So, well, good talking to you, man.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
All right. I'm going to bring you up. Or I actually don't know what these names are, though. I invited you.
Anyone else coming in, or is it just going to be you and me for a bit?
It's going to be you and me for a bit. What do you got to say, my dude?
All right, so I'm going to speak from the perspective of like the ultra budget gamer. We're talking the dude still running 4670s, right?
Uh-huh.
And as of right now, I think 1080p is in the unique position of being able to be used by a relatively wide swath of GPUs, right? So we're talking pretty much everything going back to, let's say, GTX like 780s or whatever, still sort of usable. It's not going to be a great experience, but esports you could manage, right? You go up to 1440p, suddenly like your cutoff is like what? Maybe GTX 10 series? For someone on a budget, that's something to think about. And another thing that's really bothered me is just the scaling issue, especially when it comes to consoles that somebody else mentioned, right? So like 720p doesn't scale cleanly into 1440 as far as I know. Same with 1080p, right? Yep. And if you play on a lot of consoles that are stuck at 1080p or 720p like me, you're going to deal with blur and just general like gross looking scaling compared to if you were at 4K. But 4K GPUs are expensive, and in my opinion, like still aren't there. We're still waiting for that transition to happen. So for me, like it's always going to be 1080p until like what, $400 GPUs can comfortably run 4K. Just end of story.
I would tend to agree with that. I think, I mean, the main issue with the GPUs that we're getting, I think they're actually powerful enough to run 1440p, maybe not 4K, but their VRAM and their memory bus width is absolutely throttling them right now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree there. Like I get the reasoning why they're doing it, you know, to save costs on die size and other stuff, but it just feels so wrong coming from the prior generations, especially like the HD 7000 series, R9, and the GTX like 10 series especially. It just feels criminal to be buying these expensive GPUs with 256 bus sizes.
Yeah. And then yeah, you're completely like capped off on what you can buy. I mean, it's not like they're even unplayable at the resolution. It's just you can feel it. Like if you a lot of people that are actually buying new GPUs right now and getting into PC gaming, 1440p is kind of the recommended starting point now if you're gonna buy a new monitor, because it's not that expensive. But the GPU side of things is really holding it back. Yeah,
it seems like there's been, like, you know, things looked really bright back in the 2010s. Like, it felt like the improvements were coming hot and heavy. But as of right now, it just feels like everything is stalled.
And what is funny, too, is that, according to, I mean, this is Steam Hardware Survey, but we're actually losing people on 1080p right now. So they're advertising that it's the most popular resolution. People are straying away from it now. Either if you're making an upgrade or if you're starting fresh, a lot of people seem to be going with that first. So do you feel like it's a trap?
Yeah, as of right now, I absolutely do. Until we start seeing some big advances in GPUs or game devs start caring about optimization, it really is a trap.
Oh, that's funny. I think we kind of agree. What do you think about that?
That we agree? I'm not surprised, because at the end of the day, if you go bang for buck, it's just a logical conclusion. Most of the people that come to me for advice about PC gaming aren't looking to buy like a $600 GPU. They're just trying to get bang for buck wherever possible. So I can't meaningfully recommend them a display that's going to give them, you know, a compromised experience compared to a 1080p one. And let's be real, like most people don't nitpick about resolution. If it looks good enough, it looks good enough.
I mean, I had a 1080p 27-inch monitor. I actually thought that a lot of people will say that it's like, oh my god, it looks terrible. You can see the pixels. Most of the time, even at 27 inches, I think 1080p looked pretty good. Once you get into the game and you just kind of forget about looking at the pixels, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. That was true, you know, back when we were playing at 480p, and it's true now. As long as it's engrossing enough, it's not going to matter.
Yeah. I mean, we can play pixel art games. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
So,
the real question... sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't really have anything. Go.
So the real question, I guess, for me now, right, is because we're seeing NVIDIA go really hard into DLSS, and at least it seems like they're gimping their GPUs to match, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of to me, it kind of gives me an idea about the confidence that they have about future performance improvements, right? At least ones that don't come at the cost of super huge die sizes and massive power consumption. I don't think that they're that confident that they're going to be able to have big jumps in performance, you know, in the relative short term, which is just another another strike against going to higher resolutions. Because if the world market leader in GPUs is like, we're not really so sure, you know, how much further performance can go, and like all these mid-range NVIDIA GPUs are pretty much the same, or in some cases worse than their prior gen counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be a sign from them at the top level saying maybe they're not confident with it. Because there's definitely a warning. Wait 1 second, let me message this guy. We're gonna get the 5800 X3D guy on next. I think there is kind of a. It's possible that we're starting to hit performance caps. Like, if we've seen in recent gens, like obviously the nanometer process is getting like, we're getting less and less, or we're not getting as much of a efficiency improvement gen on gen. So, because this gen for NVIDIA, which I think if it was named and priced properly would be a big improvement, and if they had enough memory and stuff, then it would have been good. But you know, that was going from, what did they have, like 7 nanometer, and they went down to like 5 or 4 or something. It was like a huge jump, and it looks like we're only gonna be going down like 1 nanometer at a time now instead.
Yeah, there is the whole thing with Moore's law as well.
Yeah, it's like, are we starting to actually hit Moore's law? Yeah.
Yeah, and so that means all the easy improvements are gone. And for me, years ago, I was just hoping that would lead to, you know, new game optimization paradigms. I didn't expect us to be in a situation where like these new super powerful consoles are targeting 30 FPS for their games. It's honestly kind of scary just how poor the optimization is.
Yeah, I mean, there's one way to look at it, like they're scared that they might not get the performance, and then there's another way to look at it, is what if they're intentionally capping this generation so that where in the future everyone's going to 1440p and they feel like they have to upgrade their GPU? What if everybody buys the new generation of cards because suddenly they just put enough VRAM in them?
That's a fair point. I mean,
as corporate America is.
yeah, that's certainly a fair point, because at the end of the day, there is a lot of people who are feeling like they're just not getting value for money, you know, me included. Yeah. And I'm sure these corporations have to know that if they could, you know, if they bring value into their product proposition, they're going to have a whole flood of new customers. Because at the end of the day, if people can afford a new GPU, they're going to want to go for it, but it can't feel like it's a raw deal.
Yeah, I agree. Well, do you want to say anything else?
No, that's pretty much it, really.
Awesome. Well, good talking to you, man.
Likewise.
Sharing your side. I'm going to bring up 5800 X3D.
All right, I'll bounce.
All right. I'm gonna invite you, my dude.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
So, I was listening in and I just had to say something real quick.
Mhm.
1080p is fine, 1440 is fine, and 4K is, as long as you have a high enough refresh rate that makes up for the lesser known part of the graphics. I really don't care if the graphics look the best, as long as I can actually shoot something, or have a better finish.
As long as you can get enough frames. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's exactly. I don't understand why people care so much about resolution, texture quality, etc.
Mhm.
If it just leads to a worse gameplay performance for your money. I have a 6900 XT in my system, and I didn't need it.
Yeah.
I really didn't with the monitors they have at the moment.
What resolution are you at?
1440p.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I need to say.
So it's overkill for you at 1440p. Is that what you're trying to say?
For the games that I play, yeah.
So as long as you get the... So do you regret getting 1440p?
Not really, no. I like the big monitors. I was stuck at 21.5 inches.
Okay. So basically, like, if you can, I guess if you have the means to get a GPU and run whatever games you play at higher resolutions, then it's fine. Is that what you're trying to say?
Absolutely.
I think that's very fair.
Everyone should, spend, $600, $700 on a graphics card when they can spend what they need at the moment instead of needing, because like I did, I spent way too much. Way too much, because I spent, right now the price of a 6900 is about 500. I spent about 1,000.
We'll get you guys.
Way too much at the time.
Just for you in the server?
I spent MSRP on mine, and it wasn't worth it. So people really need to research what they were doing and do whatever games, or find out whatever games they need, what type of resolution, performance, what they're looking for, etc.
Yeah, you can definitely fall into the trap of overspending. That is the slippery slope I was kind of talking about in the video.
Oh yeah, it definitely is, man.
It can be a hype train, for sure.
Well, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Thank you all for having me.
Yeah, thanks for talking, sharing your side.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna bring you up. I think that's Mars. I invited you. Yo,
Hi.
what's up?
Yeah, so I just wanted to give like my 2 cents as like a creative.
Okay.
I'm an artist. I've done a little game dev here and there. So I just want to kind of give my 2 cents on that.
Okay.
So the last so like for many years I was stuck at 720p, and it was really quite recently, in I guess the last like 3 years, that I started getting into like 1080p monitors and stuff.
All right.
And like as an artist, it was weird, because it's like when you're working on a 720p monitor, like for drawing and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can work at a higher resolution than that, of course, right? But then when I made the switch to 1080p, I found myself drawing at even higher resolution than I was even doing before that, right?
Okay.
And so it was really nice, right? There's just like the higher res you have, you just have more to work with, right?
Yeah, the real estate's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Real estate. You don't have to zoom in as much to get certain details and things like that. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'm sure if I went to 1440p, I would have that same experience where I'd be like, oh, I have so much more real estate. It's so much nicer. But I also know that along with working in higher resolutions, what ends up happening then is your file sizes of your projects
True.
are also going to get bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then if you have limited storage, that's going to be a problem. Right. So in your video that you did, where you were talking about how, now because you have a 1440p monitor, you're going to need a more powerful GPU. Well, if you get a higher res monitor, not only do you need a higher GPU, but you may also need a sorry, I lost my train of thought.
You need like
you're also
storage.
going to need, you're going to need more storage as well, right?
Yeah, if you are creative, yeah.
So, yeah, if you are a creative.
Yeah, I mean that's something I didn't bring up in the video, but that definitely adds up. Good night, Chrome.
Yeah.
Like I have like 8 terabytes basically to record and store footage and stuff like that, and I don't expect everybody to have that either. If you do record gameplay or if you make films or anything, even upgrading my camera from 1080p to 4K, file sizes jump up from 50 megabytes per second to 100. So they're over double. They're pretty much over double most of the time, actually.
Yeah.
And
exactly. And now
adds up.
Storage is a lot cheaper,
Mhm.
compared to like upgrading the GPU, but it is still a consideration.
That's a side cost, yeah.
Yeah. But and then I've also done some game dev, right? And I have to
She's
make a
followed.
choice of what resolution do I want to make my game go up to, right?
Yeah.
For like textures and things like that. And so that that again, that is, what is the word I'm looking for? It's a snowball effect of like.
Yeah, that's how I describe it too. It's kind of similar to the last guy that just talked, if you heard him. Because he got 6900 XT and he has 1440p and stuff like that. You can definitely, except what you're saying is more forced, whereas his was more like a hype kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can get kind of forced to buy more, and like, I mean, that's exactly what companies want. So I don't think they're arguing against 1440p, but except it seems like in videos right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Though, here's the interesting thing, though, right?
Mhm.
Is that I wonder though if, like right now, 1080p is very affordable, but if 1440p and 2K and 4K or whatever, if those things weren't out, would 1080p be as affordable as it is right now, right? Without that innovation in the space?
It probably wouldn't. I mean, when 1080p monitors were coming around, they were the high end. That was your 4K $1,000 monitor. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And 720p was probably the I didn't even experience this time, but 720p was probably the 1080p of today. And but 1080p might be approaching it for most people that they don't need more. Like, what do you think about that?
That is the question, right? Yeah, because like I think, because here's the thing. Here's another aspect. A friend of mine, we were talking about resolutions a while ago, and I was like, oh well, I don't need 4K. Like I don't want to, I don't need any of that. I'm just rather get, and he was like, well, hang on a second. If you get a 4K monitor, you basically have 4 1080
Basically,
screens.
yeah.
So
just split them up into little 11-inch 11-inch screens.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you if you want to have like actual 4 1080 screens, then like you need to actually get a monitor that is like a huge 4K monitor rather than like a little dinky one. If you want that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that argument. Some people will get 4K TVs and put them on your desk, and you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What you said?
Yeah. So that like that is an option, and so maybe that is a way we could maybe start thinking about it, as like getting these big monitors, like 30 inches or whatever, and then instead of having like 2 to 4 screens, you just have one big one that has the resolution of 1080 screens or whatever. So that is a possibility, but also it still is like such a huge money sink, like initial money sink to do.
Yeah. I definitely agree. It's definitely for higher end buyers. 1440p has come down to a price where I think it's affordable.
Yeah.
Even
And that is the
even high
question, because
refresh
I
rate.
remember back in the day, people would be like, "Oh, well, I don't need 1080." I got my 720. Like, why do I need 1080? And now everybody's like, "Well, I have my 1080. Why do I need 1440?" Right? So, like in the future, who knows? Maybe everybody would be like, "Well, I have my 1440. Why do I need?"
I just need 4K. I think 1440p might be approaching that point where it's like, actually, why would you upgrade anymore? It might start. Do you see companies? And 1080p isn't quite sharp enough at like the size of monitors that people want. Maybe if you want a 32-inch monitor, you might want 4K. But the it seems like the companies are pushing more towards monitor tech, like OLED and mini LED are starting to come down in price and become affordable. Mini LED, I think, you can get a 1440p one for like $500 now, which isn't that bad. So instead of making them look sharper, they make them just look better in general, like better panels, better contrast, better saturation. Do you think that's where the market's going to push, instead of because if people have 1440p and they're happy with it, why would they go to 4K?
Yeah, I think that like we've seen it throughout just basically the entire, just really all tech, right?
Resolution
Where
keep
like
going up.
they are kind of hitting this hard ceiling that you can't really get past anymore. And so they're having to like find these other ways to market or improve their products. So like, we've seen it with the GPUs. It just seems like they're going in the more the software direction rather than the hardware direction, because there's only so small that you can go on making the dies and stuff like that. So that might be a thing where it's just like oh yeah, we can make even an even higher resolution, but it's like, is that even like useful anymore to go any higher?
Yeah, if it is worth it. Resolution, unlike other things, actually has a cap, because it can only look so sharp before we can't see it anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. So
Jason wants to come into this chat, so I'm gonna go ahead and invite him in here. See what he says here.
I have like one more point, I guess, that I want to kind of make.
Yep.
And then I'll head out.
I muted him really quick. So
yeah.
Okay.
So like I think resolution is kind of also like indicative of like your whole rig, right? So if you have a 720p monitor, that probably like that means you don't necessarily have to have a super powerful GPU or any of this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And whereas if you have a 1440p monitor, you have to have a powerful GPU. You have to have, if you're creative, like I said, a lot more space if you're going to work at higher resolutions and things like that. So 1080p right now is that sweet spot, but like we've talked about, that sweet spot might change in the future. So
yeah.
But yeah.
Do you think 1440p could become the new 1080p?
Yeah.
Do you think 1440p could become the new 1080p?
It could, but it just depends on, that is now I'm thinking about it again. It is kind of questionable because
there is a
GPUs have already started to hit that ceiling. So it's hard to say whether, because in order for 1440p to become the new 1080p, then more powerful GPUs that can run 1440p need to become more readily available to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, until we can get that, it seems like we were going in that direction to have 1440p become awesome, and then this generation happened. Everything but the 4070 isn't really made for 1440p, and AMD hasn't released anything. So
yeah.
It was a good chat with you. Do you want? Wait, let me unmute Jason. Do you want to talk, Jason? I've just been having this serial killer staring at me this whole time. Or his mic isn't working. Oh, it's good talking to you, man. Here on your side.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and move you back to the audience.
I'll head out. Thank you for talking to me.
Yep, all good. Is your mic working, my dude? I mean, if you raise your hand, you gotta be able to talk. We cannot hear you. He left. So I see you guys have been talking in the chat here. Let me move my face cam. Does the RX 580 have a future? By the way, if anyone else wants to come up and talk, just raise your hand. Does the 580 have that feature? Wait, I thought that was a future. Interesting. B wants to speak. Owl man. Or owl woman. Come on up.
Hey man, how's it going?
What's up?
So I wanted to throw in my 2 cents about, the sweet spot or resolution.
Uh-huh.
I think it obviously, of course, depends on the size of the monitor or the TV. I've noticed for the good 27 inches, 1440p is like the sweet spot. You get the diminishing returns the higher you go. But if you go like a TV, 4K, in my opinion, is the sweet spot.
Yeah,
But,
because
as
of
you guys
viewing
were-
distance and size, yeah.
Yeah. As you were saying earlier, the quality of the display matters. My C1 OLED is breathtaking.
Oh yeah, I bet.
It is breathtaking, and when I went from a TN panel 1440p monitor to an IPS LG Ultra Gear, it was also game changing.
Yeah.
It was, the colors pop, games look better, a little more motion blur ghosting, but that's worth it for the colors.
Yeah, I went from TN to IPS. That was a huge upgrade.
Yeah, it was just mind blowing that. But I have a friend who plays on a 1080p 32-inch TV. He just built his computer this year. I built it for him.
Okay.
And he's like, even at 1080p versus his PS4, even if it renders at the same resolution, the detail of the actual image is very important. So your textures, your shadows, all that stuff. And it seems nowadays devs are also just pushing it to the limit and could be also tanking card performance.
Yeah.
It's just not helping.
I did just see somebody in chat who said, General Lee outrageous. He says, I mean, honestly, this has become a ridiculously expensive hobby. If Nvidia and AMD keep milking the market, I worry for the future of gaming PCs and that people will leave for console. Anything to say about that?
Nvidia and AMD has already kind of pushed me there. I already have a PlayStation 5.
I don't blame you.
But it's not I know I'm paying more expensive up front. What's killing me is the garbage ports, regardless.
Yeah.
I have I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. I have 2 very high-end computers.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm okay with using FSR and DLSS at 4K and just turning down the settings a little bit. I can play at medium. Most games look perfectly fine at medium detail nowadays. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah. I mean, I do get that vibe though that when it comes down to it, it's the companies trying to appeal to their stockholders, and
Yep.
the stockholders always want to see the market going up, and there actually might be a theoretical cap how much money we can actually take from gamers.
I mean,
we only have so much
you
money.
saw how much money people were paying for PlayStation 5s during the
is true.
pandemic?
That is true.
I I think that showed companies that if we're desperate enough, we will pay that premium.
Yeah.
Nvidia can and AMD can piss off with $1,000 graphics cards. I'm not spending more than $800 ever on a graphics card. It is a luxury item for me.
That is a lot of money. Dude.
I got both my cards for incredibly good deals. My 3080 Ti Tough, I paid $800 at Best Buy.
That's a pretty
about
solid.
a year and a half ago.
Was that
And my
MSRP? No, it's $1,200.
I think it's $1,200. And my 6950 XT Merc, I paid $580 at Best Buy.
Not bad.
Beautiful.
Incredible.
Fantastic.
Well, good deal.
That's all I wanted to say. So,
yeah. Well, good stuff.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks for speaking. I want to bring you up, Jason. Also, if anybody wants to, yo, you got it working?
Yo, it works.
Yo, congratulations. We can hear you.
Alright. So, in my opinion, bro, the best resolution is 1080p.
Okay.
Because that's the resolution most people play on. And, I'll be honest, I think 1440 is gonna be up there soon because there's a lot of, like, 60 series cars that could, like, do high FPS on a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
And, but anyways, the advantages of, like, 1080p, they got, like, overall, it's, like, cheaper on the electricity bill. It's, like, cheaper in general, like, the GPU and the CPU, too. Like, you save a lot of money. And I don't think it looks that bad anyway. Like I remember having the PS3 and then I hooked it up to the HDMI for the first time, and bro, 1080p still looks good to this day.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah, I do. Agree.
But I just recommend don't get a 27-inch monitor for it.
Mm-hmm.
Get like 24. Right now I got 27. Oh, it looks bad. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you can see some for sure. Well, when I had one, I would get sucked into the game and just kind of forget about it. But
oh yeah, after a while playing, you kind of like forget, but like you still want a smaller like 24-inch because it just it's just like it looks a little slightly better. But yeah, those are my reasons, and I think. Oh yeah, also the high FPS. I can't play like below 90 FPS now.
You've been tainted.
Yeah, I switched to I like 240 hertz V8 monitor.
Yeah,
bro,
I mean it's hard to. Man, refresh rate is a big one too. I dropped down to 30 FPS. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's really hard to go down to 60 now. Like.
So do you think refresh rate is more important than resolution? As long as you have at least 1080p.
I think it's like a mix of both.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't go for 240 hertz. I see a slight difference from like 144 to 240.
Okay.
But like me personally, if it was me, I would get like 1440p 120. But right now, like I'm just saving. I'll probably get like something like later on. But for now, I think 1080p is great.
You just happy with it?
Yeah. Like if I go to a 1440p monitor, I'll be playing at 60 FPS. Nah, I can't do that.
What's going on, Mike? I mean, I agree for the most part. I mean, there's diminishing returns for sure. You go over 120 hertz, I think a lot of people have a harder time distinguishing it. But same with resolution. So where do you think the 1080p is the sweet spot right now? And it isn't worth going to 1440p, or is it just too expensive, or what?
I think it's like it's too expensive going to 1440p for now, but later on I feel like the 60 series class would be like strong enough to support it.
Okay. I mean, it's fair. It does drop off with the 60 class, but
right now it's bad though because they hardly went up in performance, the 60 class GPUs.
Yeah, I think 60 class generally can do it. But yeah, they didn't. They throttled the memory bandwidth with the games that are coming out.
That too.
Is
the VRAM.
rough.
A lot of 70 like class GPUs they only have like 8 around there, like 8, or it's like the 3060 Ti is powerful enough to do 1440, but the VRAM is just not worth it. Like,
That's
it's
what
fine.
can stop
it's just,
people.
It's either go down the GPU or go up, you know?
Yeah. And you can
Like-
hit it, like, the thing about the difference is at 1440p, you'll use probably around about 25-ish% more VRAM, somewhere in there, just upping the resolution. So, like, 1080p does give you that compromise where you might not get pushed over your VRAM limit. So 8 gigabytes is pretty good at 1080p, but...
Yeah, before I had the 6600 XT, I had the RX 580, but I had the 4 gigabyte version of memory, and that was doing bad. Like, a lot of games would stutter most of my games. 4 gigabytes is not enough.
No. I don't think it is enough anymore. I think that's been
And that's
out since, like, I don't know, like almost 6-7 years ago. That was like Pascal.
and that's why I switched. Like, I had to, because the games were getting more memory intensive. I had to switch.
Yeah,
But
I was playing.
I did during the price hikes, whenever they were high, the GPU. But I found it for like $299, 6600 XT, and the 3060 was like $399. I would rather just get the 6600.
I mean, that's
What
pretty
were you
solid.
saying though?
I remember I was playing Black Ops 4 on PC on a GTX 770. And if you know what that card is, it only had 2 gigabytes of VRAM.
Bro.
They had a little VRAM bar in that, and it was like, no, you can't play this. I was like, oh.
How much VRAM did they have?
Only 2. It was
But
depressing.
That was back then.
That was but it was technically fast enough to play that, but yeah, it got capped even at 1080p.
So at the time, that was just like, that was still too slow for it, right?
Yeah, it was still. You know, I mean, things change a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, the first GPU I had was, I think they call it GT 570. I think that's what it's called, GTX 570. But like, it was like, I think it's like a 10-year-old GPU, something like that.
Yeah, it's probably like 10 years old now.
Yeah, that thing consumed like 200 watts, and that it was like half the performance of like a 570 RX 570.
Oh man,
Alright, man.
that's back when Moore's Law was awesome.
That's all I gotta say though. 1080p.
1080p is king.
Yep, cheap, easy to play. Most people play on it, and it's still good. It still works.
Yeah, quick question. If you went to 1440p, do you think you could go back to 1080p? If you haven't experienced it?
No, I know. Because I saw your video about the 1440p, like you said, you couldn't go back to 1080, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the similar situation with like resolution and frame rate to me, like how you explained it.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, people were saying, I knew your video was gonna be something like you can't go back because your eyes got used to it, because that's the same way for whenever I got to 120 hertz. But I feel like I could get used to it though. Like switching back, it'll just take me like an hour or two to like get used to 1080p.
I mean, yeah, it could probably happen. I mean, you need to go back
know
to something that's, you know, like you said, I think you'd have to go to like a 24-inch 1080p and to get that same like density pixels to make it look sharp.
What's a good size for 1440?
It's usually about 27 inches is like the sweet spot. I have a 32-inch and I do not mind it. I don't see pixels on it, but some people say that that's not enough.
Is 24-inch bad?
For 1440p?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna look really sharp.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, should I get a smaller one? Because like I don't mind it monitor being small, but it looks sharper, you know.
It really depends how far away you sit from it. I have a pretty
close,
deep desk. If you have a smaller desk or you have your monitor closer to you.
Yeah.
24 inches could easily be big enough. I mean, I have a 24-inch monitor too. It's pretty good. It's 1080p one. I think 1080p looks really sharp at 24 inches personally.
It does. It does.
I think it looks great.
27 is too much though.
Yeah, I don't think even though even in the video I used that, you know, the Retina like displays.
Yeah. Yeah.
I use that. I don't think that's Bible. Like my display isn't Retina, and I'm completely happy with it from where I sit and stuff. I think you can be happy even if it's not in technically where you wouldn't see any pixels scientifically. I think a lot of people still would be happy. So.
But
Yeah.
I was saying like, cause I go from 1080 to 4K because I have a PS5 too. So some games I be going 4K, and yeah, I'm on like a 55-inch TV, and some games are like 1080p, and it doesn't look too bad. But I can tell. But
depends how far away you sit from it. Yeah.
No, like I'm pretty close. I ain't gonna lie. So yeah, I could tell the difference, like the resolution. But yeah, it gets a little bit annoying because I got like it was a HDMI 2.1 TV, and it doesn't even work. I'm sorry.
That's sad.
I think it was like, if you want to play at 120 hertz, it does like, but it's like 1080 at 120 in the cap.
Huh.
So I'll probably get an OLED though. But that TV is good. I like it supports 120 at least. But I like the software on there. It's like easy to navigate. I like Android TV. But I'll probably get an LG though. I'm gonna get a small one because they're cheap. And usually the word is like small is better, you know? For gaming. For 42 inch is fine.
You might want to check technically your cable, your monitor or your TV should support a HDMI 2.1, but either your console doesn't support it or you might want to check your cable.
No, my TV my TV supports it. It's just I think it's like the chip inside the TV isn't strong enough or something to actually like go to 4K 120.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they did that. That's that thing with. You should look at it. Like some of the TVs, they just scam people.
Is it only 60 hertz?
No, it's 120. I think it's 120. Yeah,
okay.
It's like 120 but downgraded quality.
Technically, it should support it. So I mean, just by HDMI spec, but
yeah,
that's a bummer.
It, but like the actual display doesn't, look like it's supposed to.
Well, good talking to you.
You too.
And yeah, thanks for watching the videos and everything.
You're welcome, bro.
All
right, I'll see you.
See you around. Okay. I think I might bring you guys both up. Does that sound like a good idea? You can respond in chat. You want to do that? I'm just saying, I use Windows 11. Sounds good. Got one yes. I'll invite you both if you wanna leave, you can leave. What's up?
What's up, bro? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
Good, bro. I just got a question for you, man.
Uh-huh.
I have a 3070 Ti.
Okay.
You think it's worth it to upgrade to 1440p? Because it's still got 8 gigs of VRAM, you know?
Depends what you're buying.
It's what do you mean? Like my GPU is a 3070 Ti, you know?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Depends what you're buying.
It depends what games you're playing. What would you be playing?
Right now I play a little Warzone 2, Red Dead Redemption. Well, I finished Hogwarts, stuff like that, but just in the future, games are just getting more like, I guess.
It is only gonna get worse. Yeah. The games that you named are okay. From my experience, Red Dead was fine at 1440, under 8. And I'm trying to think. I think Warzone is plenty fine. But yeah, it is kind of risky.
Yeah, because I like, for me, I feel like refresh rate just matters more than resolution.
I mean, if you would be fine with in games just lowering settings in the future, it will probably be like that if you want to play latest games.
I don't see a difference between ultra and high, to be honest. I can't notice it, you know. But then I feel like medium would be like kind of setting the
Console
bar kind of
mindset.
low, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it gets kind of I don't know, like I have a friend that has an Xbox Series X, and that thing is supposed to run like 4K pretty smoothly, like apparently. And when I went to his house, did a little Resident Evil, and it just feels like it's running at like 30 frames per second on the. It's just like I can't go back to lower FPS anymore.
Yeah.
Like it just like it ruined my computer kind of ruined that for me, to be honest. And I'm scared if
PC
I go
Master
up
Race.
a resolution. What?
PC Master Race. Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it is. It's tough out here.
It's like going in. It's like it just feels so choppy when you because consoles don't really output that like those frames when you go up resolutions.
Mhm.
And it's like I don't know. I'm kind of in a point like, should I upgrade my GPU or should I just stay strapped in 1080p for a little while longer?
I mean, that's up to you and what you play, and if you want to actually spend the money on it. Again, like as I said before, it's very easy to spend a lot of money going to just 1440p, not to mention 4K. So you got to be careful. And once you go there, it's hard to go back, and you're going to be spending more for pretty much ever. So
yeah, like at this point,
you got to prepare for that.
Like, straight up, it's like I play on 165 hertz monitor now,
Mhm.
and it's just everything just feels a lot better in like every way. Even though it's still at 1080p, it's just so much smoother, and I want to keep that experience, but still go up a resolution. And I feel like to do that, it's just gonna cost so much money in terms of like GPU and a monitor.
Mhm.
It's like that might be like $900 or like $800, whatever,
Easily.
or 1,000. Yeah.
I didn't even mention it in the video. This can get you can go crazy with it. I mean, maybe I was just due for an upgrade anyways with my system, but I had a Ryzen 5 1600, so that's first gen Ryzen, and when I upgraded to an RTX 3080 to play at 1440p, excuse me, it would have been bottlenecked even at 1440p with that slow CPU. So I upgraded my CPU and my RAM, and I had to upgrade my power supply from a 550 watt to I just got 1,000 watt. I mean, that's easily over $1,000. You can blow it very quickly.
But I feel like a 3080 it's a pretty good spot to be in, to be honest. Like right now, if you're playing 1440p.
Oh, it's
like
amazing for it. It gets bottlenecked by my CPU at that resolution still.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That sounds.
I mean, 10 gigs is the only rough part.
I mean, is it like, because I don't play those at that resolution right now, but like 10 gigs, I feel like you can still play most games on high, right?
Well, you can, and you can use some DLSS if it does run into it, but it's only going to get harder in the future, especially for how fast the 3080 is. You feel like you're getting capped for real. So it just kind of feels bad less than it actually being an issue.
Yeah, and that's kind of it, to be honest, what I wanted to ask, but I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it could help there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it depends what you play. 8 gigabytes might be a problem. If you want to spend money on the latest games, I mean, that's also expensive, so you have to take that into account too. Then 8 gigabytes might be a problem. So.
Yeah, and I know it's not really an optimization issue. It's just like they're trying to make games playable on consoles. And consoles, I think they have like 16 gigs of video memory, right? Something like that.
Wait, what did you say again? Oh yeah.
I think
consoles have like 12. So they have 10 to 12. Yeah. I forget exactly which number it is.
Yeah, so it's like I guess developers are trying to hit that.
Well, yeah, at the moment, I don't think they're. I think they have access on consoles, so they're probably just like, whatever. We'll just let it run over a little bit. Whereas before, they were capped at about 8, and they might even been less than 8. So right now, I don't think they're being as careful, which I don't blame them. It costs a lot of money to be that careful, a lot of time.
I just looked it up. It is 16.
Yeah, they have 16, but only 10 to 12 of it's used for VRAM. The rest of it's system memory.
Yeah.
Mike says, do you want some data on turning down the settings? I do have some benchmarks I could show, maybe.
Was the Series S 8? Or some?
Actually, I'm not sure. I know it has a lower end chip.
I'm looking.
I think it has the same amount of RAM, though. But yeah, we're gonna be having games consistently.
Okay, on the Series S is about 10.
Xbox.
I don't know if you guys saw that a mod that one guy did on his 3070 or 3070 Ti to get it from 8 gigs to 16 gigs. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, I've seen that.
It.
That's a beautiful thing. I'd love to do that.
I wish that was a service, to be honest. Like I would pay like $150 just to get that service, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't even blame you. I mean, that's what they're doing with the 4060 Ti right now, like officially from Nvidia, and that card's gonna flop like a rock, dude. Oh
it's
my
gonna
god,
be embarrassing.
it is.
Yeah, because
the big thing is it has 16 gigs, but it's not even gonna be fast enough to really use it. So it's like, why even have it? The actual memory bus.
Yeah, the memory bus on it just doesn't make sense. It's like, I don't know how much it would cost in production to like increase that to like at least 256, which is 256 bit. But that just seems unnecessary to have 16 gigs of VRAM on that card, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like the Series S is unusable too.
No point.
It's embarrassing.
Look at like the stuff you're getting out of it. Like you can find really good options from the old generation back. Like 6700 or 6700 XT, or a really good deal on the 6800.
Yeah, 6800 XTs are gonna put the 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte to shame. Every reviewer is just gonna recommend that and like move on with their day. They're the same price, same VRAM, but it's faster on the XT, and then it's just faster card in general too. That's how it's gonna go.
Like the point, like why they did that is kind of stupid. Like, can you just leave this? It would simply help in performance if they're simply left the bus with.
It would help a lot.
But it's,
I mean, what is kind of interesting with the RTX 3080, because the 3080 only has 10, right? But it has a very high bus, so they used 10 DIMMs in order to do that, and you get a 320-bit bus on it. And the VRAM is extremely fast, so in some cases it does help to just even have less VRAM but have it be faster, which is probably what they should have done for the 4060 Ti from the start, but you know, this is the world we live in.
it's gonna be the GT40, 30, Ti, and non-Ti.
But it's NVIDIA, so it's gonna be awesome, right? Yeah.
I think the 3080 is even faster than the 4070, right? It's like I saw some reviews.
Yeah, if you go up in resolution, yeah, it's because the VRAM's faster. But at 1080p, they're about the same, and 1440. Actually, 1080p, I think the 4070 pulls ahead. 1440p, it loses 4K, or they're tied at 1440, and then it loses at 4K.
It's a bit under in 4K, right?
Yeah, it's like a little bit slower. But generally, people are testing at 1440p, so they just say they're basically the same card.
Like, if somebody already have a 3080, there's no point for them to upgrade. If they want a bigger, more performing card, yes. But if they want to stay around the same thing, there's no point.
Yeah. Oh. Good little chat. I mean, I'm glad I could help you, T. I can only see the first letter of you guys' names. So
yeah, appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, hopefully that helps out.
But I'll hop off for that. Thanks, guys, huh?
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
So
Yeah.
when I first built my the computer I'm on right now.
Okay.
I had a 12400 and a 12 gig 3060, but I did it on a 1440p monitor. Like some of the games I was playing was somewhat like pretty good for what it was.
Okay.
But like I was running it in 1440p itself.
I mean, 3060 is like okay at that, I'd say.
Yeah, this wasn't the 8 gigabyte version at least.
Oh, thank God. Anybody here, do not get scammed. Oh my God. And it's like $10 less. Like, hey, just buy this.
The same bus width as the 4060.
Yeah. Same bus width, and I think the die is actually cut down a little bit too. So, yeah, it's actually just a scam. It's sad.
Then, the one you see in PC builds, that was when I first started. It had the stock Intel cooler, was a 12400, was a 3060.
I mean, that's like a very nice entry level build. When did you get the 3060? Was that like something where, because I think 3060 can game at 1440. So like last June, so they're probably a little overpriced at that point in time.
I got it for $300 some.
It's not that bad. They've dropped down decently significantly, but they're actually a very good deal right now. They're actually competitive, I'd say.
If somebody still wants to do it, it's all worth it.
Yeah, I think 3060s are actually a good entry point for 1440p. I don't think you made a wrong choice at all. It won't run everything, but at least you won't run out of the VRAM. So
like,
that sucks.
I was originally going with the 3070, but my budget wasn't there enough for it.
Yeah, those were a lot at the time.
But like now I have a 13600K with the 6950 XT with a different cooler, because why should I use a stock cooler on the 13600K?
That's a big upgrade. Good for you, man.
And some games I play 4K on the TV.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 6950 XT, I mean, but that is kind of like that thing is, when you got 1440p, did you not think the 3060 was enough, or did you wanted to upgrade, or what was the mindset?
It was doing plenty in most games, but some of the games I was playing, like Forza, only reason I was using DLSS is a little bit more, but that was before I overclocked the card.
Okay.
And after the overclock, just simply overclocking, just turning the power up on it, I got pretty good performance out of it, where I did not use DLSS.
So, did you feel like, I mean, why did you upgrade them?
I want something new, and also
Wait, just 1 second.
One of my cousins was helping me for the computer. So like that was before he had a computer, but the computer he had like a good CPU for how old it was. It was like
sorry, repeat that. I had to get him, let my cat out.
Oh, it was like an 8th or 9th gen i7.
Okay.
And it came with a 2060 6 gig.
Okay.
So like I'm reusing my old board, which is my second computer I'm making, because my little cousin's and stuff. So I don't need to mess with my system.
So are you happy at 1440p? I mean, you play sometimes at 4K, seems like. So like,
and
do you feel like you'd ever step back down? Or I guess, were you even at 1080p?
No. If only thing 1080p I had was like in my old room was a TV.
Gotcha. Dude, you're like the new gen gamer. It's like, it's how people are starting now. People are starting at 1440p. Maybe not getting a 6950 XT, but
you get them for pretty good right now.
yeah, but there's still a lot of people that's almost even at that price point. That's even like their whole build. It's close to like $600. So
yeah,
I mean that's very good experience at that resolution.
Like during for like a new graphics card, because it seems like 60 okay, there is Red Devil 6950 for like 450 right now. But like it depends what you have. But I did a 1000 watt power supply. I had a 850 watt in. And I upgraded the power supply because if I'm doing anything else, like 1000 watts is plenty. And I didn't know what graphics card I was looking at during that time, because it was 4070 Ti, 6900 XT, and 6950.
Okay.
3090 wasn't there as option simply on price.
Alright.
But been pretty good.
I mean, I would think so. That's a good experience. For sure.
And like, only reason why I upgraded the CPU, because when I live stream on one of my games, it is CPU heavy.
And if
and I
you
need
stream
those...
on your CPU.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But been working quite well.
Okay. I mean, it seems like it is just funny hearing, because like you just got into it and you got 1440p like that. Whereas a lot of people, I guess, what they're starting at is 1080p. So it's kind of like the new normal. Do you think it's gonna be the new normal?
It seems like it's still gonna take quite a bit of time.
Yeah, because they're definitely in the range of budget, I think, for a lot of people.
It's slowly increasing. They're a little bit more of 1440p monitors.
Okay. Well, it's good. It's good having you on, man. Sharing your side.
Okay.
And thanks for talking.
You're welcome.
Have a good one. So, what are we thinking? So, what have we really learned? I might do like one more if anybody else wants to talk, but I'll bring on just a second. So, what we've basically gathered so far is like 1080p is budget and 1440p is maybe coming into normal for people if you're starting out, but that's not guaranteed. It might be more like what you do and what kind of games you play, because if you play competitive, 1080p is usually the way to go. And what kind of budget do you have? But yeah, I'll invite you up. Sleepy Otaku. They're crazy looking eyes.
Oh, hello.
What's up?
So, when it comes to 4K argument, I do agree with you with 1440p. Because if you're an artist or you're a creator, then yeah, I definitely think high resolution would be definitely beneficial. But for games, since I don't really play a lot of AAA games. I'm one of those I like playing shit games.
Like indie games or competitive?
Those type of games, yeah. I do prefer 1080p because it's, well, since really, relatively speaking, 1440p monitors, I kind of disagree with the argument whether like $300 is affordable, because usually my price range is around $50 to $200 for a monitor, and I don't really like, as long as like it has a good response rate and response rate and good input delay, I'm perfectly okay since I only play 24-inch monitor.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I mean, I started on like $100 monitor, so it isn't exactly in the range for entry level, I don't think. But that's in like, if you're looking for high refresh rate, usually 1080p monitors are around 200. I know like 200 to 300 is also a big jump. That's technically half of that budget over, but it isn't proportionally as bad as it was before. That's the argument.
I definitely think the technology in screen displays is getting better and better and better. Like, I want to begin models that have better color accuracy and also like having, like, cause I remember like back the one like GCN, not GCN, G-Sync and G-Sync. So in those times you had to pick one of those models. You can't like have like a model that has like both.
Yeah, it's either you get color or you get refresh rate.
Nowadays you could have that option, and it's like, I'm like, shit. Value that models nowadays became more and more better. It's like, may consider 1440p. It's I am an artist, and I'm kind of with the higher resolution, so I can see like more like detail, not having to rely on like, oh no, I had to zoom in like the last guy had said. I forgot what's his name. But I do think 1080p is definitely, well, I definitely can see your perspective on that one. Why you think 1080p is totally dying, because it's like, I mean,
well, it doesn't really like, that's more just factual. It is slowly bleeding. At least based off a Steam hardware survey. I don't know where else I'd really find that data. Yeah, it's actually dropping faster than any other resolution. And what's funny is actually it seems like a lot of people are going over to 720p, which I don't know why that's the case. I think that's the Steam Deck.
I think it's probably like the Steam Deck and the game
Steam Deck,
because it's like, yeah, a lot of people just behind those type of things nowadays.
What's up? Some guy with a Hollow Mouse?
All my teachers in the PC. You know, the Steam Deck is it's a good device, but doesn't really have the performance I really think it to have.
Oh, it's more like a console. So
yeah.
When you look at it like that, it's a better experience than a Switch, for sure.
I mean, damn right.
That's its competitor. So.
And there was like I forgot what's that one from Asus name again? What's the one from Asus?
The Ally.
Yeah, the Ally. Like, one of my friends in real life and I was like, you know what? I try to convince him not to get the Steam Deck and just be like, you know what? Go with the Ally instead, because like not only the fact you have a better IPC improvement from to the Sim 3, and sure it loses to the deck by what? 10 watts? At least you have like a far faster and more modern GPU architecture. Well, yeah, I mean, want to head back to the conversation.
Yeah.
1440p does has like some decent benefits, because like, oh, one of the games I played at Nisha, despite the fact they're only stuck at 1080p, some of the games I played, few developers on that one. But I do notice though, like, I mean, that 1440p does have like, doesn't look like fuzzy when you like in 1080p or low resolution.
Yeah.
So, I think it's definitely a major upgrade for someone like myself who, as well, I mean, if I'm doing art anyway, I might as well just invest on a better, high resolution.
For productivity, I think resolution helps a lot, and you don't usually get hit with like the processing demands of it, whereas like gaming is completely different. If you go up in resolution on gaming, that's like a huge deal, but it's just UI elements and say like DaVinci Resolve or Photoshop you don't feel that like at all. You could run a freaking 3050 on that.
What do you think about like when it comes to productivity wise, is AMD need to really get their act together on that?
Yeah. I mean, AMD makes gaming cards. That's basically how it is.
Fine, but it's like I don't want to see Intel like being like in this, you know, monopoly for the longest amount of time. Like, I mean, hell, Intel even more happy to enter in the arena as well. Hopefully, Intel also, like, when the new GPUs release, at least like more VRAM and have like capable 1440p cards, both in Nvidia and AMD. That's what I'm really hoping on the grand scheme of things. Until like 1440p mods is like around 150, 200. You know, like, yeah, you're right. I can definitely say, you know what, time to ditch 1080p at that point. But otherwise, I know. I don't really see that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Maybe like, what, 5 years? Maybe 5 or 2 years.
Maybe. You think that? I mean, that could be like definitely when it becomes normal. I mean, my argument, I guess, would be, I mean, I'm not like all in on 1440p. I think 1080p is still great. I think the reason people are switching to it is because, I mean, obviously it's not that much of a price upgrade anymore, but it is still a noticeable one if you're on a tight budget. And that's why 1080p, I think, really is still huge.
It's better than 4K and 8K, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. 8K is like, oh my god, give them your firstborn child. But like, the 1440p at like 27 inches is probably one of the most common monitor sizes that people want. That's a nice upgrade if you come from a 24 inch or 21 inch monitor or something. And 1440p looks pretty sharp at your normal viewing distance from your desk at that. And it's not that much harder to run than 1080p.
Yeah. And there's ultra wide, which like ultra wide, like I mean, I would want to go 1440p. I'm more sorely want to go to ultra wide because like it's two monitors on one screen. It's like the deal I kind of want to get. I do see 1440p. Yeah, I do see 1440p is kind of getting there. It's actually not that bad.
Okay.
Guess that's why I would like to have. I mean, like to even here, and thank you for having me here.
Oh, it was a good little chat. Thanks for throwing in your side. Talking to you. All right. I want to read chat a little bit too. Rice, I don't know what that is, but McBurney says, also Vex, thanks for pointing out the 6800 XT. I was about to go and pick up the 6700 XT, but I am tired of having to drop graphics on my 6600 XT. I'm thinking about getting a secondhand 6800 XT. Thoughts? I mean, it depends what you're playing at, but I'm guessing you're at 1440p. I don't really think that 6800 XT was going for that much cheaper on the used market. That is my eBay at. Let's check this out really quick. But like 6800 XTs, playing at 1440p, that's gonna be nice. It looks like you might be able to get them for like 450. That's my thing. I would like if I was going at this. If you're gonna go used anyways, I would very much think about getting a 3080 because they're about 400. But that's a toss-up. Do you want more VRAM or do you want? Wait, there's a Yeston one. Guys, there's a Yeston one. Wait. Okay, just making sure it doesn't show my address here. But what? There's a Yeston one. Somebody better pick this up. Well, it's been a pretty good chat. By the way, McBirdy, it's just like if you want to pay more, then you get more GPU. Like that's how I've been telling it to people. If you have the budget, just get it if you want more GPU. It's just gonna be faster. Vex is thinking of getting. Gotta get the Yeston card, dude. I was actually thinking about maybe getting a 6800 XT. I think I'm gonna close this stage. Does anybody else? I mean, well, actually, I think I'm done. So, I'm gonna go ahead and close the stage. Thanks for talking, you guys, sharing your sides. And it's been fun. Alright. How the heck do I think I just do that. There you go. Okay. I've ended the stage. Yeah, but that's what I've been telling people on those GPUs. Like, if you want to pay more money, you're gonna get more GPU. So just to kind of sum it up, we had a big resolution debate, kind of, but it seems like, at least in this community, and that could be maybe because people are biased because, you know, they come from my YouTube channel, and I think a lot of people that watch my videos probably are sort of like-minded. Opinions seem to be decently uniform. 1080p seems to be, at least from who I talk to, is emerging as basically the budget option. But if you have slightly more money to spend, and I am talking slightly, like it doesn't really cost that much more, you go to 1440p because the displays, I mean, it's sharper for most people. And if you want 27 inches, you can get that. But it seems like a lot of people that talk to here, a lot of them ran into that issue of, you know, spending more and more and more, and even questioning at 1440p if 8 gigabytes of VRAM on a 3070 Ti was enough. And just the kind of uncertainty that can come with that. And the fact when you're on 1440p, it's kind of like this feeling where once you upgrade once, when do you stop upgrading? Once you get a 1440p, you're like, but my graphics could be faster. I could get a 6900 XT. It's like the one guy who upgraded to that and thought it was actually overkill for the games that he's playing. You can feel a little hyped up into it and think it's like this huge deal, but I think there's certain people that did come into chat and they're just like, hey, 1080p is actually genuinely enough for a lot of people. Kale says, I have no clue when 1440p is happening for me. Windsor says, damn, this laptop is amazing. That's 768p laptop. Let's go. I used to have one of those. But the I'd say you can get in that slippery slope of spending a lot of money, and really, if you can be content at any resolution, that's what I kind of learned from this. Is there's people that are completely happy at 1080p and would probably like 1440p or like 4K, but like if you're happy at a resolution, why would you upgrade it? You know what I mean? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I think I'm gonna end stream. I was thinking about doing another segment kind of thing, but it's later. So we talked for a while. So I'm gonna delete the stage channel on the Discord. Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts? I wrap it up. The only other thing I was gonna talk about was like, oh, PC gaming is dying. Oh no, it's terrible. There's no games to play on PC. And I was just gonna talk about the Steam Summer Sale because there's so many fun games in the Steam Summer Sale that are cheap, and I've bought quite a few games. So I think a lot of people are happy with that, because I've even talked about how new games aren't really worth playing. We haven't really seen that many good new AAA games. So yeah, I was just gonna talk about that. Steam Summer Sale is looking nice right now. Yeah. Plague Tale Innocence. I bought those. For this, like, I got Plague Tale Innocence and Requiem. I'm playing through Innocence right now. I really like it. It's good. Especially for basically what was an indie studio when they made that game. And Requiem, I started it and got like a chapter in to get benchmarks. And then I was like, damn, I don't want to go any further, dude. I'm going to spoil it. It's a very good story. If anybody's thinking about Plague Tale, Requiem, and Innocence, very good stories. And graphically, Innocence still holds up. So if you're worried about that, it still looks good. Just the animations can look a little stiff, and that's because they were an indie studio. I'm going to wrap it up. One reason is because I really have to pee, and I don't want to go pee and then end the stream. So, because why would I do that? But hopefully you guys enjoyed. It's been a fun chat. And maybe we can do some more of this stuff on the Discord. Obviously, that was the first time doing a stage kind of thing. I think I could be better. So yeah. No. Oh my God. What the hell am I seeing in this chat right now? All right. See you guys. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy yourself. Peace.